Lost the power steering, running hot, and we've got the battery light on. Let's see what the heck's wrong with this thing. Hey, what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. Taking a look at this 2003 Toyota 4Runner. Now, the owner called me last night, said that their son was driving this and all of a sudden lost the power steering. The battery light came on the dash, and when they got home, they noticed that they were losing some water or leaking some coolant all over the driveway. So I suspect we have an issue with the serpentine belt, or something has caused that serpentine belt to either break or slip, or maybe our water pump just completely froze up and broke the serpentine belt, and would also explain leaking some coolant or running hot, because we wouldn't have the serpentine belt driving that fan. At any rate, I told them to bring it over here, so they just towed it over here. Let's take a look and see if we can figure out what's going on. Well, there's your problem right there. Serpentine belt is broken and all twisted up in the engine here. Let's pull that out of the way. Well, that little curly Q is our serpentine belt. So I pressurized the radiator here. I pumped that up. It's gone down a little bit because this isn't the best seal, but we don't have any water leaking. Now, if the water pump was bad, we would most likely have water coming out. Now, this probably is due for a timing belt water pump replacement, and all of the idler pulleys and whatnot should also be changed. Now, the owner's not quite ready to do the full timing belt and oil seal job right now along with the water pump. They just need to get this back on the road to work. So I just said, well, bring it over. Let's see if we can figure out what caused that serpentine belt to break or burn up. So if we just come around and spin all the pulleys, water pump and the fan spins fine. Spinning the alternator, no problem. Spinning this pulley right here, no problem. Spinning the AC, no problem. The tensioner pulley right here will not even spin. So that's the one we're gonna change. Okay, if you can see, it's the one right back there. That is the tensioner pulley. I think we can get to this from above with a longer handled ratchet, but I think it might show up a little bit better if I do this from underneath. So I'm gonna go down underneath and take off the front little skid plate that covers the bottom of the engine, see if that will give us access so I can show you where this tensioner pulley sits. I'm just gonna take off these two front bolts, and then there's two back here in the rear, and then that should allow us to drop this down, and that will give us more access to the front of the engine. We can see where that tensioner pulley sits. Okay, I just had to drop the front part of the back one too, so I can drop this down. Okay. Skid plate is out of the way, and now we've got a lot more access to the front of the engine here. All right, you can see right here, this is our tensioner pulley, and it doesn't even spin, not even a little bit. I can't even turn it, so we're gonna take that one out and replace it. That is a 14mm socket. This bolt on here is reverse thread, and you'll know that because when you turn it, if you're trying to loosen it like a normal bolt, it turns the tensioner. That's how you put the new belt on, and that's the tensioner that we're gonna use. So the tensioner still works and seems to have a lot of strength. We were able to find just the pulley, so I'm gonna turn this clockwise to loosen it. And we'll take this one out and replace it. Yeah, there's the bearing. You can see that that's definitely trash. There's the old one. I can't spin that at all, but you can see there's some ball bearings missing. There's definitely some damaged pieces in there, and this was completely seized, and that's what caused our belt to go bad. Here's the new pulley. This is a Murray part number. Pick this up locally at our O'Reilly. Part number is 2330115. Comes with this little spacer right here. Now the instructions are showing it being used with this bearing sleeve, and it looks like that will still work, and it fits right in there. So we'll go ahead and use that bearing sleeve, because otherwise it doesn't look like it's gonna fit on there right. I'm gonna clean these threads up a little bit and put a little bit of the medium strength blue thread locker on here to make sure that that doesn't accidentally come undone. I'm gonna clean up the threads on that bolt with this little wire wheel on a drill. Just make sure you wear some safety glasses if you're gonna use something like this. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of this Permatex blue. That should be enough. All right, let's go back down and put in the new pulley. That ain't gonna work. Okay, it looks like our sleeve right here is stuck on. So we're gonna have to just leave that. The diagram shows it going on from the front of the pulley. It seats on there just fine, but we may have to just install it like so. Yeah, that's good. That's the only way to take up the play. Unfortunately, this little bearing sleeve, you know, even if its intent was to go on the outside, and maybe those instructions are wrong, because it's possible that this is the original, or at least it was replaced with the tensioner, but the sleeve that's on the tensioner right now will not come off, so we're just gonna have to go with the sleeve that's on there. It's the only way that we can tighten that down and make it flush. So let's do that now. And you can see tensioner still works fine. And of course, we're going to be tightening that as we put on the belt. That spins nice and smooth now. So let's go ahead and put our belt on. All right, now routing the belt here, a little tricky because we got to get around the fan. We just kind of have to put it through and run it around the fan. And we'll put it up over here on the power steering. And around the alternator. It goes around the tensioner pulley here. All right, now this is not an easy belt to route. I'm just gonna put a belt routing diagram up on the screen for you. I've got it on the tensioner here, and I'm gonna go up top while somebody else pushes this to the side this way while I put on the belt up on the alternator pulley. Got it. Slowly let it back. Okay, that's good. Now I saved the alternator at the top for the last one because I had someone helping me, but if you don't have anybody helping, you'll probably just want to save one of these lower ones for the last one to go on. But it all looks pretty good right now. Just verify that everything is seated, and that looks good to me. So let's go ahead and start it up and see how it does. All right, let's give it a shot and see how she runs. All right, well, the belt's on and it looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's also a lot quieter than it used to be. Now we've got no check engine lights, and we don't have that battery light on the dash like we did, which was lit up before we started. Let's go ahead and put the skid plates back on and we'll wrap this up. Now you see these tabs right here, they just go into these little slots. And the way that that happens is it has to kind of be up at an angle like this to get them started. See, they kind of hook in like so. And then you can just push that back up underneath. But remember, we're gonna have to pull that back one down a little bit so that we can catch that edge, and then we'll bolt it up into place. Then we'll put all 4 bolts into this front one as well. So I got all of these started by hand, but again, you've got to drop this back one in order to drop this forward enough, because it's on those hinges in the front, those pins that need to come out, but you need to tilt it all the way forward. But now I've got everything back in and started. Let's just tighten them up. And the last 2 here up front. All right, and you're done. This is back together and running exactly like it should. We also topped off the coolant. We had lost or bubbled over a little bit because this had gotten hot when it didn't have the serpentine belt running that fan. Even though this is back together and working fine, I noticed some of those other pulleys are probably due for a change, and I'm just gonna let the owner know. They're probably gonna wanna do the whole timing belt water pump job on this here pretty soon. We were also a little bit low on oil, and it looks like maybe our cam seals are leaking some oil as well, and that's something that we can get done when we do the timing belt, which will be at another date, but I just got to let the owner know for right now. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. I'll get a link in the description where you can pick up that tensioner or tensioner pulley, along with that serpentine belt and some of the other parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.